Alrighty, everyone, let's get started for today. I hope everyone's having a great day, and thank you for making time to come and join us for this training workshop. I'm very excited to show what our new AI course is. So again, thank you for being here, and a big thank you to Mike and Daniel for help making this possible. I think this will be a great workshop. So before we get started, my name is Brendan. I am teaching our new AI course along with Daniel. Me and him are both teaching this new AI class. So you'll see and hear about some of our experiences, some of the differences that we have, which will be pretty exciting. And I've been with AI Go Learning for almost 3 years now. So I've taught various different classes, Python, Java, and Scratch. So this new AI course has been my favorite by far, and I hope I get to share that with you guys and make you guys interested in teaching it as well. All right, so our goal for today, really, we want to have you guys get a general overview of what teaching AI Go Learning is. So we want you to understand what you would be signing up for, what the classes are, curriculum, and also we want to prepare you guys with some good tips and tools that have not only helped me along the way that I could share with you guys, but also how you could better yourselves for teaching this AI course. And for today's agenda, so again, our overall goal is to train and empower teachers to confidently teach our new AI course. We have a couple of different segments that we're going to go over. Our first segment is a general overview. So we want to show and know more about why you are here today. Our next segment, which Daniel will take over, is going to be about the AI class. So what you will be teaching. Segment 3, we'll talk about how to prepare for a lesson. So how you could be ready for everything. And that's where I'll go over some of my experiences as well as so far of what I've learned through teaching the AI course. And then segment 4, a really important topic, is the benefits of teaching AI. So why and would you want to teach AI courses for AI Go Learning? We have a Q&A, basically an open floor time, so you could ask any questions, maybe share some ideas, and learn from each other about teaching AI. And then to wrap up, we'll show you how to sign up and start teaching. So general overview before we get started. So what is AI Go Learning? We are a nonprofit organization founded by students. Our mission is to empower teachers and students, and we teach kids with AI, coding, creativity, and more important, confidence. Not only for students do we want to teach confidence, but also teachers. We want you to teach and be confident about what you're teaching. We have 800 teachers trained, which is great because we have a large community and everyone helps each other out. We got a great Discord group and a good support system, which will be really important as well. And why would you want to teach AI? So AI is becoming a required skill, basically a new literacy. And the best way to learn AI is to teach it. So building leadership skills, communication skills, and boost your resume are all a really big factor of why teaching AI is important. So I just realized my camera disconnected. Hopefully I'll turn on soon. Sometimes my computer shuts down the camera, so bear with me while I try to get that going. Hopefully sometimes it'll turn on in a couple minutes. I don't want to hold you guys up, so I'll keep going. But also to make a real impact on younger kids. One thing I've realized a lot of when I was teaching this AI course, you get more of a connection with students than if you did with, say, a Python or a Java class. You're more engaged and involved with the curriculum, and you get to do more of the projects as well, which is really exciting because you get to see the impact you have on these students. You get to see their whole entire learning growth. And also as a teacher, you get to see how much you grow and are able to make changes on the fly. Again, you get to create some of your own lessons based on how the student is learning. So I think that is a really cool, big reason why teaching AI is important. And also, we're very flexible. As most of you guys know, I'm sure teaching at AI Go Learning, you get to choose the times you are available to teach, meaningful and future-proof. So we can see on the side, we got a diagram that shows that AI is becoming more and more used by organizations. So knowing AI is going to be a really important tool in the future. So again, the best way to learn AI is by teaching it. So who can teach AI? We have many opportunities available to teach our new courses. We are looking at college students and high school students, and we also offer introductory teaching levels. So you would start as a TA, where you would assist in some of those AI courses, hopefully gaining some good experience to eventually one day lead your own AI class. Obviously, being passionate about tech and teaching and AI is really important. And be good with kids. Patience is a very good virtue to have, especially when teaching. Not every student's going to get their lessons on the very first day or very first time around. So it's important to be patient and maybe you have to reintroduce. figure out ways to make sure that they're learning at a good pace. And also, it's really important to know we're not looking for AI experts. It's great if you are, that's wonderful, but it's okay if you're not an AI expert. When I started teaching this class, I was no means an AI expert. I went to school for computer information systems, so my background was more in programming. But learning AI, I was able to see it's actually very easy and it's a good, quick way to pick something up. AI is you learn on the fly, and there's many tools available that I'll show about what helped me teach AI so I could teach it better and also to be more confident. I think being confident about how you teach is really important. Basically, our whole entire goal is to have you grow as you teach. And I'll pass this on to David.
All right. Hello, everyone. I'm kind of regretting leaving my camera on. I think I've just been the one face y'all have been seeing. In any case, I'm used to it after teaching all these classes. So for the next few minutes, I'm going to go over the AI courses we're offering. Specifically, one will take a look at the different classes we want to pursue and then our goals. Take a look at how the teaching is going to look like, right, for teaching AI classes. What is the process to be training and to become a teacher? And finally, what are the tools that's going to be provided for you to teach these classes? Right. So this is a quick overview of the offerings we have at iGo Learning. If you have already been a teacher or you've looked at, if you at least gone through the training sessions or some of the training classes, the left side of all these tables should look familiar, right? We currently have Scratch classes, Python classes, Java classes. And if you're not familiar with any one of these and you like to teach these classes as well, I highly recommend it. There's all the information are available on our ThinkPlan training classrooms. But the main course today is, of course, the AI classes we're going to be adding, the right side. So next slide, please. So the courses we're going to be offering can be mainly split into two series. The first half is going to be more on understanding these AI tools, AI applications, and applying them. These classes are going to be much more focused on the application, the usage, and for students, really, there's no coding required for students who take these classes. Right. Some example is the main class is Introduction to Gen AI, where you can explore these different applications and explore how to use them. But the other classes are going to be much more focused on specifically on like, hey, let's explore one specific application and how we can improve using AI to assist in that part of life. And so essentially, much more entry level, much less technical, but equally important to understand, hey, how do we use this tool in our lives? The 5XX series are going to be more focused on the technical aspect. So let's say there's large language models, right? How can you build these AI projects? And how do you learn about, let's say, how large language models work, or learn about how specific AI applications work? For example, how does deep research work in ChatGPT? Through building these applications, or through exploring these different concepts and frameworks. So the 5XX series is going to be much more technical, and it's going to be more focused on building with AI and learning about them as you build these projects. And as since it's going to be more technical, it's going to require a coding background. Now, regarding these specific classes, right now we're focused on the first two, so 400 and 500 series. The 400 class and the 500 class are going to detail about them in just a bit. So if you want to get started, if you're interested in starting teaching right away, these two are the classes that's probably the most straightforward. Now, if you have ideas, let's say it's not listed here, just off the top of my head, if you're really interested in, let's say, learning about, if you're really interested in agents and you want to teach about agents, and if you want to teach a class on that, that's perfectly fine as well. We can talk about it. And all of these classes are really, there's a lot to teach here. So that's something that's on the table as well. Now let's take a look at a bit closer at the classes specifically. So let's say you want to start teaching AI classes, and this is probably the most straightforward one. What would the content be like, and how would you do so? The AI 400 is Intro to Gen AI, and the idea is it's an entry-level course where students explore different AI applications, where the focus is on understanding what AI can do and what Gen AI can do and how to use it in everyday situations. So high-level ideas, high-level concepts that could be covered in this class could start from looking at, well, what are the different applications out there, and what exactly is Gen AI, and what can you do with it? Generating images, generating text. Two more specific cases. Oh, how do I improve by writing better prompts? Or how can I use it safely? How or when does hallucination happen? Things like that. More specific, and then basically much more focused on usage and understanding how it works. Next slide, please. So this class is going to have most of our other classes. It's going to have two levels, right? It's 16 hours per level. Oh, I'll go over that in just a bit, but the idea is it will cover some fundamentals and go into deeper concepts. The focus of these classes, like all of our other existing classes, Python, Java, Scratch, whatnot, is project-based, right? Exercise-based. The goal is to get students to explore these different AI applications, explore how they work with Gen AI through interactions, through exploration, rather than focusing on technical lecture, how does the large language model work? So really, you can think of this class as students who are interested in learning about using these applications, or even adults who really don't have much background in these areas but want to learn about how to use these applications in their lives. This is the go-to course for them. For you, so you're interested in teaching this class. Really, we are looking, it's right here we wrote like it's college students with interest in technology and a passion for helping others understand it, right? As Brandon mentioned earlier, you don't necessarily need to have, oh, I'm like AI expert, especially because the course is really an introductory course, right? And so you're also welcome to learn as you go in a way, right? So the course is really, like this said here, it's open to anyone who's really interested in this area, have some background in it, or want to, and is interested in teaching them or exploring these technology with new students. Now, the 500 course is going to be much more technical. And for people who, let's say, have built their own app, not even that, like for people who are interested, like interest in learning to build applications or do more hands-on stuff. More specifically, in this class, students learn how to implement more advanced methods to improve AI system responses, build AI-powered projects. You will be required to know Python. Well, let's say if you know how to teach the material in the curriculum, but using another language, you're also welcome to do so. It's much easier with Python. All the documentation whatnot online are all in Python, right? So that's with that said. So this class is more focused on the building part, the technical aspect. For example, how does large language models work? How would you build using APIs and how would you use these publicly available frameworks? Another example topic is you look at RAG, retrieval augmented generation, or some different advanced prompting strategies, and also work on a final project. So as you can see here, much more project-based, much more technical focused. Next slide, please. Yes, thank you. So two structures again, two levels where you explore different AI concepts, different AI frameworks would be one thing that is encouraged for you to do here when you teach this class is that there's a final project going on throughout the entire course, right? As you teach more content to your students, for example, we start by teaching, hey, let's say example is how do you make API calls to large language models and build your applications, simple applications. But let's say, how would you improve that? Make it much more consistent or accurate using, let's say, retrieval augmented generation or add agents to it. As you teach these concepts to your students, it's going to be one single final evolving project where students learn more and more about these things and work on this final project up to the end. It's like a lot of our other classes, again, very project based. You learn through work, doing things. As a teacher, you are required to know how to work with Python, as I mentioned earlier, but the more important thing is really enjoy exploring the more technical side of these applications and sharing them with your students, right? Let's say if you have fun just looking at LangChain and looking at these libraries, or if you're interested in doing that, this is kind of the class for you to teach. Now, how teaching works, if you have taught a class at Icon Learning before, it's very straightforward, very similar. Online Zoom classes, generally speaking, we geared towards one-on-one and smaller groups. This way, there's less burden on you. The class, it's easier to teach these classes. Length is usually going to be 16 to 90 minutes, 16 classes per session, per level. And one of the benefits of this, which Brandon will talk about in a bit, is that it's very flexible, right? You can just teach, fit it in according to your schedule after it's going on the weekends. Finally, the process to become a teacher, this is also going to be pretty familiar compared to the other stuff, right? Like the first steps, attend training workshops. You're already here. In the future, we may do even more workshops that's more content specific or teaching oriented. Look out for those. But well, you're already here, so that's the first step. In the future, you'll be seeing, we have training materials and the class outline and all the resources. I'll describe in a bit. That's going to be on the training classroom on ThinkLab. And the idea is the same, right? Go through these, be more familiar with the class itself, and then submit an evaluation class video at the end to basically say, oh, I'm ready to teach this class. Let's get started. Once that's all done, you get assigned to teach your classes based on the availability you've said. So finally, we provide a variety of resources to help you teach. For one, the curriculum outline, and then also there's going to be lesson slides and teaching videos when they're available. In addition to that, I didn't mention here, but depending on the class itself, there may be notebooks for you to use for coding projects, etc. One thing I want to point out here is that most of our classes, the class is very flexible towards how you want to teach it, right? We have a curriculum outline. That's the main thing. And we have lesson slides for you to as a reference. How would you teach this specific concept? But let's say on this concept, you say explore, you want to work on your own projects, or you want to explore a completely new technology that came out a few days ago, and then you want to explore that with your students. It's very flexible, and then we welcome you to teach the way that fits your students' need and fits the way you teach best. I think Brandon also will talk about this later on in the prepare your lesson part. Finally, a few other things we offer: class management system, teaching assistant when that's available, and training and peer support work group and support from staff and senior teachers, right? For example, if you have any questions about teaching these classes, you're welcome to ask me anytime. And I'm sure Brendan is welcome to take any questions as well at any time.
Alrighty, back to me. So I'm glad my camera's back on. I do apologize about that again. I know sometimes my camera will shut off randomly, so I apologize. I think this part of the workshop is really important because, like Daniel said, also have that freedom to make your lesson more about either the student or as well as what you would like to teach. So it's really important to know how to prepare a lesson. You're going to hear me tell some stories about some of the classes I've taught so far, so I appreciate how bear with me during that. So I know I could ramble, but I think it'll be good tools and maybe some good lessons you might be able to take from it. So, how to prepare for a lesson? The biggest four, really, if you have good practice and you go over your notes and slides before, you're learning about the topic. That's another huge one because if you are just opening up the reference slides and expect to wing it basically and teach on you go, you're not going to do a good job of teaching. Part of being a good teacher is knowing how to, not only knowing the topic, but knowing how you can teach it in a way for people to understand. I think that's something that is kind of overlooked when talking about being a teacher. Pacing is also very important. So pace, so the class and you want it to run smoothly, not leaving you too much time where you're basically just getting slides done in 5 minutes and leaving the rest of it just for projects. And also that comes in with practice and then also being ready for really anything. So more into it. So practice, just like how it sounds. Go over your slides and notes before the class. I usually like to give myself maybe about an hour before the class starts just to make sure I'm going over the slides or the notes of what I really want to have. A little side note, I think it is really important to have maybe a goal for the class where you could say, hey, I really want to get this done in this class today. Maybe last week we weren't able to finish a project. The goal for today is let's get this project done. Let's get this lesson going. So I think that is a thing that you should add is setting a goal or expectation that you also share with your students. So they're also aware of what they need to get done as well. Checking the modules. So, like Daniel said, where we will be adding modules in the future, like some of the other classes. Python is one where they have like a training module where basically it shows the curriculum, the class pacing. I think that's great. And it's also really important to look at that so you can go and have a plan. And when I say plan, it's like a plan of attack for how you want to teach the course. You're following your curriculum through and making sure you're not deviating or you're unprepared for what's next. So you're setting yourself up for the next week. When you bring it up in the week before, it'll be easier on you for the next week and it's not as difficult to prepare for your class. And the last part is doing the run through. So if you go and you practice basically doing your own little presentation, I found that to be very helpful. Even if I'm just talking to a blank screen, I've noticed that practicing the slides and seeing what I need to improve. So maybe certain things in the AI, it's changing constantly. So maybe there's a new topic that I'm not too familiar with. So I'll go through the slides and be like, oh, that part I messed up a little bit on. I need to spend more time and focus on how I could actually make that sound better in a way that I could teach the student as well. And the next part is to learn. So again, make sure you learn the lessons to help you understand during the class. You don't want to get stuck in the middle of a lesson or have a question where the student will ask you and you're just, oh, I got no clue. You really just want to be prepared. And part of this that I wish I put on the slides, you really want to learn about the student. That's also a really important part. What are they interested in? Maybe your student likes video games and you could gear your projects more towards a video game, or maybe they like sports and you want to be able to relate more with them. Because the classes are geared so it's one-on-one, it's really important that you're also adjusting the lesson based off what they like. You don't want to do something completely where they're uninterested and they're not really excited about what they're learning. So having that where they're engaged in something that they like is a good tip of something that I've realized. Learning at what level that they learn at. Me and Daniel, as I mentioned, we're both teaching an AI course, and we're on it. I think we're around the same week. We're both around week 10 right now. And his student was learning at a much faster pace than my student, and that's okay. Everyone learns at a different pace, but that means you have to adjust lectures. That's why the slideshows, it's a good reference, but it's not always going to be the same because sometimes a student needs more time for a lecture to understand it, and sometimes students learn better with projects. So knowing that and understanding that about your student is it's a very good thing. Also, asking ChatGPT to explain difficult lessons and being able to practice is good. So sometimes I needed help learning what LLMs meant, and I would type that into ChatGPT. So not only are you getting practice with an AI tool, but you're also being able to learn about a topic in an easier way to understand. So just kind of getting that extra experience, maybe what you read online or on the slides didn't really make sense. So having that where you could learn and have things explained differently, that might help you be able to teach your class.
Hey, Brandon, sorry for interrupting. And can you turn off? You are the host, right? You see someone has the video on and exercising. Can you turn that person's video
Yes.
off? Thank you.
Alrighty. And again, so giving time to learn, check over slides well before the class starts. That's the best way you could succeed. This next part is also a very important part of class pacing. So you want to make sure you have a plan to pace the class, make sure class time goes smoothly, utilize that whole entire hour. An hour a week is not a lot of time to fit all this information in. You really got to go in with a plan. That goes with practice. So they go hand in hand. You really need to practice to make sure that you're getting your goal achieved and all the information that you need within that hour. Some class ideas, lectures are great for explaining. They take some good time up. Projects are really good if not only because you really get to see where the student is at because you don't really gauge where they're at if you're just doing lectures or projects together. If they're spending time and doing their own projects, you're really able to see how they are learning and taking in that information. And maybe a project doesn't go to plan and they completely fail a project where they can't do it on their own. And that's okay. It's you're able to see what you need to improve on and what they need to do better with learning. I like to ask questions. I have like practice questions or review questions at the end of my slides. This is a good way for me to understand of what they learned during this class, and maybe next class I need to have a introduction again or a review from the previous class. So that's a good way to gauge where they're at, and taking notes does help out quite a bit with that. The little things that help. So spend time before class to have a conversation. Ask how their day is. You don't have to go straight into just teaching. Honestly, I think it does help a lot more if you just get the student kind of warmed up for it. How was your day at school? How are your classes? What is your favorite subject? I think it's small things like that that if you could relate to your student, you make them a whole lot happier and practice in a fun way. So making Kahoots or quizzes, even just a little brain break, that's a good way to so the student doesn't lose focus and also to make sure that they have a fun time. Because AI, there's a lot of possibilities with projects and fun ideas you can do with AI. So again, it's your class that you're teaching. So it's good to know that. And then the last part is to be ready. I think this is especially important with the AI course because things happen. It's be ready for the unpredictable. So students will ask questions and you got to be ready to answer them. Even if it's a question you don't know about, write it down so you could help maybe during the next class. Sometimes your projects or lectures won't go as planned, and that's okay. It's always good to have a backup plan or a backup idea. For instance, maybe your camera crashes during a training workshop for the AI class. It's really important just to stay calm, be patient with it. Things happen, and that's okay. It's part of life, so you don't have to worry if something goes bad, and just make sure to have a backup, have another idea just in case. You have 16 weeks. You could always push a lesson to the next class if it didn't go right. If they need more time on a previous topic, that's okay. A good tip, like I mentioned, go over the class expectations before. It helps the class run smoothly and also gives you a goal to meet. And another thing that I think is really important is to communicate with the parents. They pay for the classes and it's their kids. They really want to know what's going on. They want to be involved just as much and they want to know what they're learning or how they are learning. So basically, we teach for the students to learn. We're not teaching just for the hours. That's not how we want to look at it. Teach for renewal, and we offer 100% satisfaction guaranteed. So really just make yourself stand out. It's always great to communicate with the parents, let them know ahead of time that maybe you can't teach a class 1 week. Communicate with them. How can you find a makeup date for it? Or ask how their students like in the class. You could even ask the student, what am I doing right? What am I doing wrong? How can I be a better teacher? You don't really understand how the student's learning unless you ask them. So that's a really important thing to bring up. Before we go on to benefits, I do want to share what my slides have looked like in the past. So this was from my week 9 AI training. Again, since me and Daniel are teaching two different level students, this was one of the slides that I made on my own. And I realized this was supposed to be a week where we're talking about coding and AI. And my student, he needs a little bit more understanding of AI and his expectations. He gets off topic very easily, which is okay. I always like to do a little warm up, so I give him some time to play around with AI, and then I'll go into some lecture base where I explain what programming in AI is, or code, and then coding in AI. How is coding in AI in around in the world? What industries are using coding, programming in AI? So web development, gaming, all this. So it's you follow along with the curriculum pace, but you can do it in a way that is geared more towards the student. So instead of doing projects for this, I'm doing a little bit more explanation so he gets a good idea of it. What I use for a lot of coding is Replit, and then I like to give a summary of what we talked about in the class, and then these are review questions as I was talking about. So it's a really good way to gauge how the student did in the class, what they might need time to focus on for the next class. And then again, if you have any questions or any ideas of how you can do better as a teacher, that's always really important those are the important things to ask. Alrighty. And then, so the benefits of teaching AI. So why teach AI courses? To pay, we offer $20 per lesson, which is it's great, amazing. You get to boost your resume. It is great to show that you're able to teach AI courses. I think a lot of employers, they really like to see that not only are you having experience with AI, but you're able to teach it, because that just shows you have a better understanding of AI, because it is a whole different thing if you just know AI versus teaching it. It's a really good thing for employers to see. And also learning. You get to learn a lot about AI. I've learned so much in the past couple months just because I've spent time sitting down and figure out what I need to do for lessons or the curriculum building. It's really great because it's a lot of things about AI I didn't think you don't really think about. So it's good experience to have, and I think it's really important.
Just to quickly interject, the $20 pay is minimum. So it's one-on-one classes. We start with $20 base pay. Just want to point that out. It will be more like 20 plus, depending on the classes you're teaching and the difficulty you're teaching with.
Yes. Thank you. And then a little bit more into depth with the benefits. So you earn while you grow. So you gain teaching experience and get paid to learn cutting edge technology. So I think it's a great thing because I'm very interested with technology. I always have been. That's what my degree's in. So not only do I get to learn more on the side, but I'm also getting paid to do it. In addition, you get to build your future. So you strengthen your resume. You get great leadership skills and communication skills. Again, it is not only just being able to show that you're learning how to teach it, you learn just how to communicate that very well, which it will show in job applications and when you're doing interviews. That's a really important thing. I really like the flexible and remote as a college student, and I'm also an athlete. My schedule has always been packed. It's really hard to find a time to find a job, and not many places really like to have where one week might be a set schedule and the next week's completely different. So flexible hours is I think, great thing about AI Go Learning that we offer. It really fits your schedule. So as a college student, or even if you're in high school, you get to teach after your classes, teach on the weekends. I think that's one of the most special things about it. And it's remote, so you get to teach right at your desk, which is can't beat the comfort of your home. So that's also a really big benefit. Expanding your network is another really big benefit. You get to connect with other students and teachers worldwide. I got to make some great connections just because of the AI course. Me and Daniel have had a lot of great conversations. I'm going to actually meet Daniel and Mike in Boston soon, which I'm very excited about. So it's a lot of great opportunities and networking that are available just because of this course. Staying ahead of the curve, so you get to be part of a growing field shaping the future of education and technology, and allows you to be more confident. I think being more confident is really just the great thing. You're more knowledgeable about AI and technology, and since it's such a big part of the future, it is really important to know what are the changes going on, and you're keeping up to date with it all. And also, honestly, my personal favorite, inspiring others, making an impact by helping others understand and use AI responsibly. I really love to see the impact that I have on students. I love seeing when they finally understand a topic and you see that kind of light bulb in their head turn on. And it is a very cool thing because, again, you get to connect more with the students because these AI courses are more personalized, in my opinion. Who are more engaged and involved with the students. So to me, seeing that impact and inspiring them, to me, that's one of the most rewarding feelings teaching the AI course. I would really encourage anyone, if you have any questions, please, the floor is open. I also really encourage you to sign up. We have a form. I'll put this in the chat as well. Or Daniel, do you think you could put it in the chat maybe?
I got it.
Thank you. And then scan the QR code as well. If you have any questions, please reach out on email and connect on Discord. But please, if anyone has questions, the mic is open.